Welcome to Jason in the Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a rich and creamy flan from Chef Rick Bayless. So let's get started. Alright, to make our caramel, I've got 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and I'm going to pour in 1/3 cup of water over the top. Okay. Now, traditionally, you bring this to a boil and you take a brush and you put water down the sides to keep the caramel from coming up the sides and caramelizing. But I have another technique that I use. I've got the water in here and the sugar. I'm going to get it all moistened. I'm going to turn it on to medium heat. And I'm going to put a lid on it. Now what this will do is this will brush down the sides for you automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. And we're going to let this go until we get an amber color to the caramel. The darker your caramel, the more bitterness it'll have. So you want a slight bitterness to this, or a little bit more, because your flan is going to be sweet. So that bitterness will offset the sweetness. So I'll be back when we get to that amber stage. All right, let's take a look here. I took the lid off, and I see that underneath the bubbles, it's turning amber. So we just want to swirl it like this, and it will continue to cook, or caramelize, I should say. It's got a nice amber color there. You can go as dark as you want, but you got to be careful you don't burn it. But if you do burn it, it's okay. You just start over and do it again. This doesn't take long. This takes about 5 minutes or so, and you've got caramel. Now, whatever you do, do not touch this caramel. It will burn your finger very bad. Believe me, I've known from experience. The first time I made caramel, I was like, oh, look, caramel, let's taste it. Nope. It solidifies on your finger, and it burns very, very bad. So don't try it. All right, what I'm going to do now is pour these into each of the molds. I've got 8-ounce molds here. You can use whatever size you want if you want them a little smaller. Gotta work quickly because this stuff will harden up really fast. I'm going to do a couple extra just in case here. It'll come out. It's starting to harden up already. Just in case I have some extra filling. I'm going to spread these out really quick around the bottom. Make sure it covers the bottom. Okay. These are looking good. So don't worry if your caramel sticks. Just go ahead and reheat it. You can pour some more in your molds. It's not a big deal. All right, now if you have any extra caramel or the stuff that's on the bottom of your pot, what you want to do is just put some water in here, and it'll come off very easily. Or you can reheat the pan with a little bit of water in it, either way. But if you just let this sit with some water in it, it'll come off by itself. So this is what it looks like here. It's going to harden up. That's what it's supposed to do. Now, if you want to cheat, what you can do is buy cajeta at the store and just use cajeta in the molds instead of making your own caramel. That will work just as well. All right, now to make our custard. In this sauce pot, I've got 1/4 cup of sugar, 1.5 cups of milk, I've got one 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, and we're going to bring this to a simmer. Now on the other side of the stove, I have another sauce pot, and I'm bringing that to a simmer with just water in it. And that's going to be for a water bath. So we want to bring this milk, sugar, and condensed milk mixture up to a simmer as well. And we want to stir it just to make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. And get all that condensed milk combined with the milk and the other sugar, and it'll all come together. Now while we're waiting for our milk and sugar mixture to come to a simmer, I've whisked 3 large eggs and 4 large egg yolks into this mixing bowl. And we're going to pour our hot milk mixture into the egg mixture when it's ready, and that'll make our custard. We've also got some pure Mexican vanilla on standby to put in after we whisk those two together. And then over here on the side, I've got a pan with our ramekins in there, and I put a towel on the bottom so they don't slide around. I've got a ladle ready to ladle the mixture into the ramekins. You can also pour your hot egg and milk custard mixture into a pitcher and pour it in, however you'd like to do it. I've also got another mixing bowl and a strainer ready so we can strain the custard mixture to make sure we don't have any scrambled eggs in there. I've got the oven heated to 325 as well. Okay, our milk mixture has come to a simmer. Okay, I've got a wet towel underneath this mixing bowl so it doesn't slide around. I'm going to slowly whisk and pour in this milk mixture to make our custard. Okay, now we're going to strain it out. Make sure there's no scrambled eggs. Alright, looking good. Now we're going to put in about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. I don't really measure, just kind of estimate it. A little extra vanilla is not going to kill it. It's probably going to make it a little better, actually. Now the original recipe calls you can put some lime zest in here as well, and you would take it out. It'll be strained out when you pour this out. But that's entirely up to you. I don't put it in, but if you want that lime flavor in there, that's an option as well. Now we've just got to carefully ladle our custard into our ramekins. You don't want to come all the way to the top. I mean, close to it, but that way you don't spill any if you wobble a little bit. If you do, it's no big deal. It'll just fall down into the pan on the. But anyway, I'm going to fill the rest of these up, and then we'll be ready to put it in the oven. All right, our molds are all filled up. Now we're going to carefully put this on the middle rack in the oven, and we're going to pour our simmering water into the pan. All right, I've got them safely in the oven, and now these are going to take at least an hour. All right, it's been an hour and about 8 minutes. So I've pulled these out of the oven. And they need to cool here in the pan with the water for 1 hour at least. And then we can take these out, and then they need to refrigerate for at least 2 hours. So I'm gonna jiggle them and see they're not watery anymore. The custard has set up. So we'll be back in an hour so we can wrap these up and refrigerate them. I've wrapped them up in plastic after they've cooled for an hour in the water bath. Now they're ready to go in the fridge, and they have to cool in the fridge for at least 2 hours, so that way they can firm up and come out of the ramekins easier. So when we're ready to eat these, we're gonna mold them on a plate, and then I'll show you how they look like. All right, to mold the flan, just take a knife, put it inside, go all the way around. Okay. We're going to put it on our plate, and hopefully it falls out. There we go. Just let some of that caramel drip on top. You can also heat up the bottoms a little bit to get more of the caramel out. And there you go. That's how you make flan. Alright, look at that. You can see that. Nice and creamy. If you see it curdled, that means it's overbaked. Some restaurants will serve it that way, unfortunately. Nice, creamy, little sweet. Get the caramel. That's really good. Thank you so much for watching. If you find value in these videos, please like and subscribe. God bless you.